On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are breaking down the Broncos Week 3 matchup, Broncos against the Chargers. Is Bo Nix or Justin Herbert better right now? That's going to be a fascinating conversation. Plus, we are breaking down not only who is going to be the Broncos starting running back, but how the reps will be split up between RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. We've got a good idea of that. And we're having our guy Brian Baldinger on. It all starts now. Broncos show today on the DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, and we are the DNVR Broncos podcast. Henry, Chisholm, Zach Stevens, we got you here behind the camera as well, rocking and rolling with you. We don't have any time to waste, but before we dive into it, it is Spirit Week here at DNVR, Henry, and today, arguably the coolest day, the most impactful day that we have here at DNVR, where today is Big Brothers, Big Sisters Day. You guys know throughout the shows this week, you can donate if you're watching on YouTube, you can donate to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Today is all about that, focusing on raising as much money as we can. And I'll tell you what, we've been lagging. DNVR has been lagging a little bit. We need to pick it up, and we need your help to do that. So if you're watching the show today live, make sure to go on the YouTube part, click that donate button, donate. When you do that, also drop a chat in to let us know that you donated so we can say thank you for that. We really want to do that. Or you can go to bbbs.org/allcity to donate there. And you can also become a big at that link. That's bbbs.org/allcity. We are, as an all-city company, we're on our way to our goal.
We are.
But as a DNVR, we've been lagging, and we need your help to help us get there.
Yeah. We're in fourth place of the 5 markets, which isn't good.
No.
Not only that, but we're not on pace to hit our portion of the goal, which isn't good either. So if you guys wanted to, the crazy thing is, so it's like the East Coast people, who's winning? Chicago, I guess, not super East Coast. Philly after them, and those aren't places where I think of good people. Like when you think of the East Coast, you're just like, there's angry, they're all about themselves. And the fact that they are doing better contributing to charity than we are just makes the entire state of Colorado look really bad.
Who is the nicer people?
Yeah.
Chicago, Philadelphia, Phoenix, Dallas, or Denver? If you were to just throw that out there, everyone would be like, Denver's got the nicest people. So let's show that. Let's show that we're the nicest people out there. I mean, come on. Yeah, Henry, what a great point.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
It looks like we already got $20.
Then let's go.
People understand what's on the line.
Let's go. Let's keep this up. And another part of today, let's beat every other show at DNVR today. Let's beat every show at All City, but let's at least beat every show at DNVR. We know Broncos kind of owns this town, so let's show them through this show that we dominate this city and this country as well. So we appreciate all of that. We really appreciate that, and it goes to a good cause. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, 100% of your donations go there because YouTube, when we set it up this way as a fundraiser, YouTube pays for all the fees. They pay for it, so you aren't paying for that, so 100% of your donation goes there. So let's go, or should I say, let's bow.
You love to say that.
Maybe every donation, I'll do something that just makes Henry roll his eyes. Maybe we'll do that. I'm pretty good at making Henry roll his eyes on this show, so I'll think of some things. So, Henry, when you see some money come in, let us know, or producers Logan or here, let us know. But let's dive into this conversation because we got a big show today. I think it's going to be a really, really fun show, and it's going to be even more fun the more money we raise for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And let's start here, Henry. We're joined by Baldy in just 10 minutes from now, and you and I have already had
another $20.
Let's go. Let's bow.
There we go.
Boom. Big time. You hear? I need some ideas to how I can make Henry roll his eyes. Yeah, just be kind of annoyed. You know,
that's what the people are paying for.
Every donation, that's what the people are paying for. And
that
for
and
Big
help.
Brothers, Big
the actual
Sisters.
good charity. There are a lot of bad charities out there. This is a good one.
Henry, do you believe
Yes.
in the Broncos running backs?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just stop there. I shouldn't have led you with that because I was diving into it and we got another one. So we're gonna ask Baldy. This is the first time we've talked to Baldy since this is the first time we talked to Baldy since the Broncos signed RJ or J.K. Dobbins. And so we're gonna ask him who starts. We've already talked about that conversation. So what I wanted to dive into a little further here is, okay, does it really matter who starts? Potentially, but regardless of who starts, how are the reps going to look like for RJ Harvey, for J.K. Dobbins? How is Sean Payton going to split those up? And then also for the third running back, whether it's a Jaleel, whether it's an Audric, whether it's a Tyler Bidet, whether it's a Blake Watson, a lot of people fighting for that third spot. So how do you think these reps will be split up?
I'd start by saying third running back basically doesn't exist.
I have an exact percentage of how much they exist.
Oh, wow. I don't. I would say, you know what? Yeah, I'll say week one, if a third running back gets a touch, I'll be surprised. I think I would say they don't get a touch week one.
So over under 0.5 is what you had set it at.
And I think that, so the case for there to be one is that Audric would probably make the most sense just because he's the bigger back, and there could be a situation where, you know, it's 3rd and 1, you just want to plug right up the middle with a fullback and then Estimate behind him. Even then, I think that that's probably a better job for J.K. Dobbins, or at least like close enough that they don't want to change that rotation. Maybe you could get something weird going with Jaleel, but that would mostly be because you don't want to put that on RJ Harvey's plate, or maybe you want both of them in there. But even in that case, why not just Dobbins and Harvey? So I would say it's probably just two guys.
Yep, I agree. And Scott Rickard says 23% snap count for the third running back. No, Scott.
No.
You are way too high.
What is it?
In 2017.
Okay.
So Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara were together with Sean Payton in New Orleans for 2 years. It was the rookie year for Alvin Kamara in 2017 and 2018. And so that's what I'm really basing this off on, two running backs that Sean Payton really likes. I think it's going to be split very similar to that. You know who the third running back was in 2017? So Mark Ingram was a starter. Then they drafted Alvin Kamara in the third, who they thought was going to be more of just a role player. And then he ended up being obviously a dude. They found that out in preseason. They had a third running back by the name that every single person listening to the show has heard of and knows very well.
I can't think of it.
I was shocked when I saw this morning as well. Adrian Peterson.
I was just about to
You were
get
very
it.
close
Shoot,
to say
I did know that. Damn
Adrian Peterson was their third running back. So
Yep.
last year, Sean Payton told us, look, guys, the way I operate, I can only really have two running backs operate in one game at the same time. And he proved that with Adrian Peterson on his team. Now, obviously, Adrian was at the end of his run there, but you would think they signed Adrian Peterson. He's going to, even as the third running back, he's going to get a decent amount, right? Yeah.
Yep.
4% of the snaps is what he played. Adrian Peterson played 4% of snaps. So I know people in here haven't liked how much we've discounted the third running back in this conversation after the Broncos signed J.K. Dobbins. They've said, like, oh, you guys are sleeping on Audric Estimate. You guys are sleeping on Jaleel. If Sean just like was fine not playing Adrian Peterson and only playing him 4% of the time, I think he's going to have no problem not playing Audric Estimate, not playing Jaleel, not playing the third running back more than 4% of the time. The very next year, Adrian Peterson was off the team, and we'll get to RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins snap count and how that was split up, or how it was split up with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Whoever the third running back was in 2018 played 4% of the snaps. So there's no hope for the third running back, in my opinion.
I agree. It would take like one of the two guys not playing well for a third running back to kind of enter the conversation. And you're not going to know that by week one at the very least. Right. And so that would be like week 3, we're going to start working this guy in because something's not going well in some other way.
Right, exactly. So Henry, how do you think it's going to split up between RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins?
It's tough. I would say There's like a timeline to it. So I was just curious because like the whole starter thing, again, running back, it doesn't really work out. So if there's a starter.
Yeah.
And so I was curious. I went back and watched the Saints pregame introductions. By the end of Alvin Kamara's rookie year.
Crazy thing to do.
Oh, especially the cameras weren't good at the time. Yeah. So like phone camera now, but then back then you're just like trying to, because it's so loud, you're trying to hear what the names are. It's too blurry to see who's running out.
Oh my gosh.
And
this
I was
just
able
like less than 10 years ago, which is crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. But by the end of Kamara's rookie season, they were both just running out with the starters. They're both introduced. They're both running out the tunnel. Like they're both just starters is the way it works out. And I'm not sure if that was the case at the beginning of the year. I would imagine it wouldn't have been. I would imagine that Ingram is like your starter at that point. He's obviously been to Pro Bowls, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I think that in theory, that's the way that this should play out, is that by the end of the year, you're saying these two guys, they're both starters. Any given week, it could be this guy's getting more. It could be that guy's getting more. But the start of the year, I would say it's probably going to be Dobbins. Just because, he's the vet, he's trustworthy. Like when the first depth chart comes out at the beginning of training camp, it's going to be, Dobbins is at the top, and then maybe they say Harvey is too, but more likely it's like, oh, he's a rookie, he's got to work his way up. And I think that even though those things don't technically matter, and looking back at the old depth charts, it was just Mark Ingram / Alvin Kamara. They're both starters.
Yeah.
I think that Dobbins is going to be seen as just like the early on, if there's a 60-40 split, he's probably the 60. But then it'll balance out hopefully a few weeks in. And who knows? If RJ's really good, it could be 60-40 the other way by the end of the year, or any given week, really.
In this conversation, because I know that we'll have some comments in the Twitter chat, this conversation all rides on, we're just assuming they're both healthy. Obviously,
also
if
true.
health plays into that, then things obviously change. We know there's questions about J.K. Dobbins' health, but both healthy. Henry, I agree with you. I wouldn't be shocked if it's flipped and RJ is actually that guy, but what it boiled down to that first season when it was Mark Ingram and RJ Harvey, 54% of the snaps went to Mark Ingram, 44% of the snaps went to Alvin Kamara, and then those 4% of the snaps went to went to Adrian Peterson. The next year, when it was clear, okay, this young kid's taken over and Mark Ingram's the guy, it was pretty much a 60-40 split. Actually, maybe it was like 65-35 split. But so this year, that's exactly what I expect. Like 60-40 at the most, unless there's an injury, unless one guy really takes over. But I think this is going to be a very even backfield. And this is exactly what Sean wants. He wants two guys that he can play to their exact strengths and rotate them in and out. And how dangerous is that for a defense where in the fourth quarter, you have to go against two guys that are fresh because they've both played about 50% of the snaps. You're not getting a worn-down running back. You're getting a worn-down defense with two pretty darn fresh running backs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what you hope for. And again, like we were talking before, like both guys are pretty capable of doing hopefully all sorts of different things. And in that way, it is similar to the Kamara Mark Ingram thing. I mean, there were multiple years where Mark Ingram's top 10 in the NFL in receiving among running backs. Yeah. Like the burst, the speed, the breakaway stuff. Like hopefully both those guys are so good at everything that you wind up, being able to scare defenses because you're not tipping your hand by putting one in or the other. Because it felt like that last year, where it's like if Audric Estime's in the game, it doesn't necessarily mean you're running the ball up the middle, but it means that if you're running the ball outside, it's not going to go anywhere. So the defense doesn't need to respect it. Right. And so you just play against the middle. If it's Jaleel, you're probably not running the ball up the middle because it just wasn't going all that well for the most part. And so defense could sit outside. In a perfect world, Dobbins is capable of like being the big bruiser. Going back and watching some of what he did as a freshman at Ohio State was kind of fun because he's wearing like the big pads and just running behind him. Yeah. It's like only the second running back to ever be a day one starter as a freshman at Ohio State.
Wow.
But hopefully he does that. Hopefully he has the breakaway speed. And then hopefully you have Harvey, who you're pretty confident that he has some of that like speed, press the edge type stuff. And based on what we've seen in college, he should be good up the middle. And if you're giving like Ingram one side of Dobbins one side of the spectrum, Harvey one side of the spectrum, and then they're kind of like fighting for who gets where the line is drawn in the middle, but then there's a little bit of crossover too to keep them honest. That's the perfect situation, and hopefully Sean Payton's right.
Yeah, absolutely, Henry. Really good points there. All right, let's ask our guy Brian Baldinger this question. Before we do,
real quick,
yes,
we've raised another $230 since the last.
Let's go! Sorry.
Oh, scared me.
Let's bow, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you guys. Let's continue this. And let's continue it after I give a shout out to our friends over at Branded Bills, a new partner. And whether you need snapbacks, trucker hats, beanies, tees, fitted hats, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. And the thing that gets me with things like this is when they partner with colleges and teams, and that's exactly what they've done. They have so many teams that cover the entire country, including Henry's Colorado State Rams. You can get that. Actually, okay, Henry, they have your Montana Grizzlies.
There we go.
Over at Branded Bills. They've got my CSU Rams. And they've got so many SEC teams. They've got Penn State, Purdue, Tennessee, Ole Miss. Broncos have an Ole Miss tight end on their roster right now. And, of course, we know Broncos.
DJ Jones.
Yes, and DJ Jones. And we know the Broncos love Utah. They've got Utah over at Branded Bills. And the cool thing about Branded Bills is they will give you 15% off over at brandedbills.com and use the code BBDNVR for 15% off. That's brandedbills.com and use that code BBDNVR for 15% off. You all need hats for the summertime especially, and if you want to rep your team, Branded Bills is the place to go. Use that code BBDNVR for 15% off.
And want to give a shout out to, I think for the first time, Cake Mortgage. Cake is awesome. They so mortgages to me are something that are very boring and uninteresting.
Probably to most people, yeah.
Exactly, very straightforward. But when in talking to the people at Cake, we had a call with them a couple weeks ago where they kind of explained how it all worked. It was pretty crazy, the different things that they could do with mortgages that honestly I was kind of interested in. All sorts of different stuff. Their specialty is the non-QM loans, which is basically for people who are oftentimes self-employed. So you don't have a W-2, you don't have like a real hard tax return to be able to say like, here's how much money I make. And, you know, maybe you're self-employed and you're trying to make it look like you're not really making a profit so that you don't have to pay as much in taxes, but then you want a mortgage. And so you have to say like, I can't, like, nobody will give me a mortgage because I don't have this income because I'm trying to not pay as much in taxes, which is a reasonable thing to do. What they do is look at, it's not called that. It's if you go to them, they'll look at all of the deposits into your bank account. And so 50% of that counts as income, 90% counts if you get a letter from like a CPA or for like a profit and loss statement. And so for people who are self-employed, want to get a mortgage, don't want to pay a lot in taxes, have the money to actually pay the 10% down or whatever, they're able to help you out with a mortgage. It's kind of a new thing. Uber drivers, truck drivers, business owners, whole bunch of really cool stuff. And that's probably all the time I have to explain it now. Look forward to tomorrow though, because there's plenty more info. Cake mortgage.
Some cake on your face tomorrow?
Cake on my face. Sure.
Okay, you hear? You better be sitting behind his chair tomorrow. And when this read comes up, smash him with the cake. Cake him.
I do like cake. Also, like Cake Mortgage, both kinds of cake. Cake Mortgage Corp, equal housing lender, NMLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply.
So, do we have Baldy yet? Okay. As we wait on Baldy, in our DNVR Slack channel, because I can't make Henry roll his eyes anymore, so I'm gonna turn on what we're doing here for
did you see Dre's
for this
chat?
Fundraising.
Well,
yes.
I gotta read this. That's pretty good. Dre just said, I heard loud yelling and thought there was like a physical altercation down at the bar or something. Turns out it was just Zach doing a Branded Bills read.
Yes, exactly. So I've changed it to, we have a office. Everyone else that's not doing a show works upstairs. So when we get a super chat, or not a super chat, when we get a donation, I am going to make a loud noise.
Just tell them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'll tell them. So make sure to donate. Henry's going to keep us updated, and you guys are going to keep the conversation going in the Toyota chat. And you know what? Speaking
another
of
$50 during that.
let's
break.
go.
Yeah. There we go.
Or let's bow. Let's see how many times we can bring Dre down from here. And also, if you leave a comment that we don't approve of in the Twitter chat today, we're gonna call you out, and then that means that you have to donate as well. So Broncos Tube, I cannot read that one on air, so you have to donate now and let us know when you do that. And we've got our guy, Brian Baldinger, calling in right now. Let's bring him in right now, and the screaming will stop when Baldy's on. I don't want to hurt his ears or anything,
right.
so
yes.
We will save that for after. But our guy Baldy is joining us. My man, how's it going?
Things are good, Zach. Things are good this time of the year. You know, everybody's sort of taking a break right here and kind of getting ready. So, you know, take a little time off, get ready for the start of training camp, starting to get some assignments. So it's a good time of the year right now. We're right around the corner from kicking this thing off.
It's crazy. I mean, we are less than a month away from rookies reporting to training camp, just pretty much a month away from the Broncos vets reporting. But Baldy, before we dive into football and some J.K. Dobbins news for the Broncos, what is time off for you? Because I feel like that's just doing more Baldy's breakdowns.
What is time? I always take a vacation. Probably heading over to Croatia here in a couple weeks.
Ooh.
And get over there for like 10 days. So playing in Jason Kelsey's golf tournament on Monday, going to the SAC Summit out in Las Vegas with Max and Vaughn and the gang. I think Nick Benito's going to be there. I think Jonathan Cooper's going to be there. Going to OL Masterminds in Dallas with a lot of the offensive linemen. So some football mixed with a little bit of vacation.
Yep, that's exactly what I'd expect from you, Baldy, is just still locked in on football. That's going to be awesome to get your perspective on the SAC Summit with Vaughn there, of course, and then Benito and Cooper, too. But we actually had some Broncos news to talk with you about. Since we last talked to you, the Broncos have signed J.K. Dobbins. What do you think of this move just on the start?
Well, I think we talked about it the last time, Zach, right before. It was probably the day that they signed.
It was, right before. Yeah,
I mean, initially I thought J.K. could be a rep stealer for, RJ Harvey and Esteme and, Jaleel. But, I mean, he's a veteran guy who's been around. I'm sure that he's not going to – sure they have all kinds of contract, situations put in there if he does suffer an injury. But he gave the Chargers a bolt last year. I mean, his first 3 weeks were pretty good. They got off to a good start. I don't think he finished the season strong by any stretch, but – there's probably some carries left in the tank right there. Probably a veteran feel, probably motivated. After being, now released and, signed by Denver, probably pretty motivated to keep this career going.
Yeah, he's a guy. It's kind of interesting looking back because, had a whole bunch of touches in college, had some injuries in high school, like broke his leg the first game in high school, missed his senior season. And so you have like that track record there. At the same time, the injuries in the NFL have meant that he hasn't had a bunch of touches in the NFL, and he's still only 26. Like when you look at kind of the wear and tear versus the age versus like potentially getting a little more rest these past couple of years, do you think that this is somebody who could kind of have a resurgence in the second half of his career, or is it, an aging running back, which is something that's kind of scary to bring into a team?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been following J.K. He's from LaGrange, Texas. Honestly, it's a one-stoplight town in southeast Texas. And, he came to Columbus. He started day one. Like he won the job, and a talented backfield. He won the job. He was a heck of a college player. But like all these running backs, everybody has a different shelf life. And it's just hard to predict. Generally, running backs with a history of injuries don't suddenly stop getting injuries. They generally keep popping up. It's just it's part of the position. It's part of the pounding. Some guys handle it better than others. All those running backs that came out in 2017, including Alvin Kamara, who's been shooting through his share recently. But you look at whether it's McCaffrey, Fournette, Aaron Jones was a 5th round pick. He's still going strong. He gets a couple of nagging injuries a year, misses 2 or 3 games a year, but he's still going strong and putting up big numbers. So, I mean, everybody's different, and it's just hard to say, will it stop? Will he stay healthy? Nobody really knows. And maybe his body doesn't know either. It's just, can you take the pounding that running backs have to take?
I'm curious what you think about like gambling on a guy like that, because the Broncos are in a unique situation. You know, the Super Bowl window for a lot of teams just until your rookie quarterback gets that second contract, until you have to start paying that guy. And who knows if it's open yet, but you're kind of starting to see that this could be a time to make a run. Is it smart to make a gamble on a guy like that who has the upside that he has, or would you rather see them go after somebody else? And I guess at this point there weren't a lot of other options left on the market, but maybe somebody who doesn't have the upside, but somebody who can trust to be around for, 5 months, which you might need, hopefully, if you're a Broncos fan.
But if you go back to like Sean Payton's Super Bowl run in 2009 with the Saints, Reggie Bush was there and he didn't survive the season. He missed a lot of games. But there was Pierre Thomas, Mike Bell. Like it was 3 running backs. They put up 16 rushing touchdowns that year. Pierre Thomas Sean Payton fell in love with him. Undrafted kid out of Illinois, had a great run with the Saints. Like I just think Sean is looking at this situation going, you need depth at this position. The idea that Saquon or Derrick Henry and the years that they both had last year, even for both those players, it was an unusually healthy year. Derrick Henry had been banged up a little bit before that. People thought, boy, he's 30 years old. Can he still go? And he went for 1,900. Saquon had a number of injuries with the Giants, and he stayed healthy for 20 games last year. It's just a position where you better have good depth. And I think that's all this is right now. It's just it's a situation where Sean's been around this business a long time. Even going back to his days in Philadelphia, when he was an assistant coach, or the Giants, or the Cowboys. You look at his history and where he's been. Ricky Waters was there his first year in Philly. Ricky Waters put up crazy numbers. The type of numbers that if he was in today's game, we would just celebrate him probably more than he ever was. But I just think he's looking at this position like you better have quality depth just because of the nature of the position.
So, Baldy, we kind of disagree on the show about who's going to be the starter after bringing JK, and I think it's still going to be RJ with a big role for JK. I believe Ryan and Henry, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you guys think maybe initially it's going to be JK. Where do you sit on that, Baldy?
I just think at this position, it's a young man's game. Like RJ Harvey, like he's fresh. He hadn't been hit a lot. You come out of Central Florida, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like you're going to be the freshest guy there. You're going to be the guy that's had the fewest injuries, the fewest hits, the fewest tackles. I feel like he's going to excite everybody right away. And, I think, like you look at Jaleel and what he's done over the last 2 years, like he certainly has his role. He certainly, pops in a certain, like usually every game there's a play or two that he pops in. So I think like his role won't change. It seemed like Audric, I don't know if he got in the doghouse, but he fumbled a few times, sort of gotten taken off the map. I'm sure he gets a fresh start. But I feel like this is RJ Harvey's job to lose. I think everybody knows what JK can look like when he's healthy. He's certainly an explosive back that sees the holes, that has pop to his game. But to me, I think this is RJ Harvey's job to lose. And then everybody else can look at, who's going to be the backup at this point.
I love it, Baldy. Kind of switching gears a little bit. We are, during this downtime over these next few weeks, we're breaking down all 17 of the Broncos games. And today, right after we talk to you, we're breaking down the Chargers-Broncos game. And it all starts with the quarterback position. Right now, like going into this next season, how do you compare and kind of rank and stack up Bo Nix against Justin Herbert, 2 Oregon guys?
Well, I think both head coaches feel good about their quarterbacks. Harbaugh has come out and said that Justin Herbert's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's come out and just flat out said that. Now, whether it's just to build his confidence up, I believe he believes it. I think if you saw both of them just throwing the football, you would fall in love with Justin Herbert before you fell in love with Bo Nix. Doesn't mean that Bo Nix can't be a better player. I think he runs more than what Justin Herbert does. I think he's a better runner. Although it looked like, Harbaugh got Herbert to believe that he should be a better runner than he is. That's what he was when he won the Rose Bowl at Oregon. But I feel like Bo Nix right now is a better dual threat quarterback than Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had a phenomenal season last year. He just had a horrible playoff game. And so that's ultimately how you get measured at quarterback, is how you play the postseason. And so I think Herbert feels like they've added some pieces around him this offseason. He's got a go-to guy in Ladd McConkey that I believe, is going to have even a better sophomore campaign. And he's got some good backs. This Omarion Hampton is a heck of a player. So I feel like they've addressed they've done everything they could to make life better for Justin Herbert. And I would say at this stage, because of his experience, Justin is a better player than what Bo Nix is. Doesn't mean that Bo Nix can't make that big jump in his second season, though.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting. I'm curious what you think about going back and looking at last year's rushing numbers, like by volume, by like efficiency, they were pretty middle of the pack. And I think of the Chargers with Harbaugh as being like this dominant rushing offensive line. What did you see there, and kind of what are your expectations for that running game now that they've upgraded the running backs?
Well, I think a lot of it was game specific, where they fell behind in games and they had to throw it more than what Harbaugh wanted to throw. Like, I think if he could control the game better defensively, then he would probably run it more than he throws it, the way his brother's team in Baltimore did, the way the Eagles did, the way Detroit did, the way other teams in this league did. Green Bay ran it more than they threw it. I think that's the trend in this league. I don't believe Sean Payton is going to follow that trend. He's going to come out throwing it and, screen passes, short passes, but he'll throw it more than he runs it. But I think Jim Harbaugh would like to run it more than he throws it. I think he'd like to control the game. They have that Scott Matlock, who's, a defensive tackle. He's their fullback. He's their H-back. He's their guy to kind of lead the run game, 305, 310 pounds. Harbaugh loves him. He loves his role. I think they would like to run it probably close to 500 times this year if they can.
Baldy, final one for you, and it's from someone in our who's listening right now in the Twitter chat. Says, how did Baldy get the nickname Baldy? He's not bald. Is it simply just cutting your last name off right before the dinger? Yeah, I mean, look at that luscious set of hair right there.
It's just simply, you grow up with the last name Baldinger, you're going to get your share of nicknames growing up. Bo Diddley, Bo, Dinger, like you're just going to get all of them. So Baldy just, stuck. There's people out there that don't even know my first name. They just know me as Baldy, which is fine. My mother, my girlfriend could call me Brian, but Baldy has stuck, and I don't have any plans to change it at this point.
Good, and we like Baldy because it's way better than Dinger, because Dinger is the Colorado Rockies mascot, which is a big purple dinosaur that no one really likes. So we love Baldy. We're gonna keep it.
Keep it that way. Let's keep it that way, Zach. You got it.
Baldy, incredible insight. We love talking to you. Even in June 19th, you're still bringing awesome insight. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, guys. Yep. Talk to you.
Man, the legend. Baldy right there. Yeah, I thought it was probably just simply his last name. Yeah. But we just changed the spelling a little bit. Instead of the I, you go with the Y right there. I'm about to scream my heart out after I give a shout out to our friends over at, it's actually great friends, over at True Fan Travel. It's kind of like we're giving a shout out to ourselves, but also the great company of True Fan Travel, who is bringing us to London. We are going to London for the Broncos Jets game in week 6, and we want you to join us. So what we've done is partner with True Fan Travel, and they have created an awesome week. I believe we get there on Wednesday, leave the following Monday, and you can get a full package right now that includes flights, hotel, events, pretty much every single day with us. We're going to be exploring London on a bus. We're going to do a bus tour. We're going to be exploring London by doing some pub crawls. We're going to be doing it all. Of course, going to the game. This is going to include your game ticket as well. So you can get tickets for this all-inclusive package. There's also some packages out there that don't include flights. If you don't want to fly with us, you want to fly somewhere else, that includes hotel and all of the events we're doing over at truefantravel.com. It is going to be so cool because as Spencer mentioned, who works with them directly, mentioned yesterday, they know how to master this. And so they're going to take what we did last time and just make it that much better. And last time was amazing. So if you want to get tickets and join us in London, go to truefantravel.com.
And shout out to Empire today. If you're looking to upgrade your floors, Empire is the place to go. They have a virtual floor machine. I'm not sure how it works. Maybe AI, who's to say? Where basically you can pick any sort of floor, carpet, long carpet, short carpet, wood floors, fake wood floors, whatever kind of floor you're into, and it'll just show you what it would look like in whatever room you're showing the thing at, which is a cool thing. And honestly, even if you're not interested in floors, it could be kind of fun to do just because I don't know what else you're going to do. If you're looking for floors, though, they're the best. You can go to the big box stores, but they aren't people who specialize in floors. They do all sorts of different stuff. They want to sell you like 2x4s and all that. Empire's just floors. Their specialists only know floors. And so if you're looking for floors, that's a place to go. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners get a $350 discount when using the promo code DNVR. You heard right, a $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DNVR for full details.
Henry, with the Colorado Rockies mascot being present in this town, could you imagine if when Baldy was in third grade, he got the nickname Dinger, and every week we were having Dinger on our show?
I don't think he would go by Dinger. I think he would say, just call me Brian.
Just call me Brian. Yeah, probably. So shout out to Baldy. Yeah. It's really cool. We love talking to him. But it's so cool to see how much the Toyota chat loves talking to him. By the way, hit us with a thumbs up, but more importantly, donate to Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Yes.
So we had some massive money come in. Yes. So first off, I want to give a shout out to Carolina Bronco for a nice donation, to Brad for a nice donation, from Broncos Tube for a nice donation. I called out Broncos Tube for leaving a spicy, inappropriate comment, and Broncos Tube came through and donated. So appreciate you. Shout out to Alex Lasses maybe, and a shout out to Damon, who came in as an anonymous. I guess if you're using a VPN, you get a little anonymous tag thrown on you. So shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone that's donated. But there is one that needs a massive, massive shout out. So much so that I'm going to try to get Dre, our GM, to think that there's another fight going on down here and make him run down the stairs. So I'm going to move my mic away from me. But we got to give a shout out to our guy Broncos too. No, our guy Danimal. $250 donation. Wow. Are you kidding me? That's how we do it. Danimal also using a VPN. So initially it came in as anonymous. That is too freaking cool. I absolutely love it. Dre, Danimal get $250. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Wow. Yeah. He's not even from America.
I know. So it came in as anonymous.
I know you'd think the Americans would, be able to match that.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. We called out like the Denver community, the Colorado community.
Don't let the Danimal show you up.
Has the Danimal donated more than the rest of everyone on the show right now?
Yeah. We're up $936 since the start of the show.
Let's freaking go. Shout out to the Danimal. We got a lot of OGs in here. Dags, man, this is making me feel good. Let's go, baby. And maybe that wasn't it was an awesome donation, Danimal. Yes. Maybe Dre doesn't come down until it gets even bigger. So I'll blow out my vocal cords if we get a bigger one.
We know.
But if the screaming gets really loud,
at some point,
at what point is he like, I have to leave this meeting right now?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so shout out to everyone who is chiming in with us, hitting us with thumbs up, giving Baldy credit, and especially for donating to bbs.org/allcity or just donating in the Twitter chat right now. We really appreciate it. It's really cool to see our community come together. Okay, let's get to the Chargers.
Yep.
How about that, Henry?
Yes.
And we got a couple of cool graphics. Henry, you do a great job putting these together every day.
Yep,
And All you. Yep. Henry does a great job making the graphics as well. I don't think anyone else does anything. Just kidding you here. If you donate, I'll give you a shout out. You hear specifically you. And let's dive in. And Henry, take me through the new look Chargers, because we saw them twice last year, but they've changed a little bit.
Yeah. As you can see, the additions probably outweigh the departures. Departures first, though. No more Joey Bosa. Big in some ways, also not that big in other ways because he never really plays.
Right.
Christian Fulton.
He's already hurt with the Bills.
Yeah, he is already hurt with the Bills.
Jeez.
I wonder, did Asante Samuel Jr., he must have left before the offseason.
Yeah.
But he left whenever he left. Christian Fulton also left, not a good corner. Wide receiver, Josh Palmer, not a good guy. Poona Ford, decent defensive tackle. And then, of course, J.K. Dobbins is gone. On the gains, though, you have Mekhi Becton, who, some debate about whether he's an awesome guard or whether he's just like a good guard, but got to play with the Eagles, so he looked like an awesome guard.
He's big.
Very big.
We talked about Joey Bosa being big in some ways. Mekhi Becton's very big.
Certainly an upgrade over Trey Pipkins, who's now on the bench. The two running backs, Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, those are the big names. Dante Jackson at corner, who I think is probably a better corner than any of the corners they lost. Bring back Mike Williams, who cares? Tyler Conklin, a decent tight end, good fit for Harbaugh. And then, of course, drafting Trey Harris. Sometimes you include the second-round picks in here. I think he's an interesting one because they just need a big Ole Miss, another one. Trey Harris, big receiver, run after the catch, makes plays on the sidelines.
Yeah, Henry, when I look at this, I think this is the Justin Herbert offseason, and I don't mean it in the way you think I mean it. I mean it in the way that last year, Harbaugh neutered Justin Herbert in the regular season. He said, I'm not going to allow you to lose me games. So he didn't throw the ball very much, and you know what Justin Herbert did? He didn't lose them very many games. He went 17 touchdowns to no interceptions, a crazy streak. He was the only one above Bo to have like the better touchdown to interception ratio for a good part of last season. And then in the playoffs, they got down, and Harbaugh said, okay, Justin, we're going to put the ball in your hands. Let's throw it. And he threw 4 interceptions, including a couple of pick sixes. It was a disaster. So what Harbaugh said this offseason was, we're going to make sure that we neuter you even more, and we are going to run the ball. So we're going to go get a big run-blocking guard at Mekhi Becton. We're going to go get the highest-paid running back in the free agency market that actually hit free agency. Because Aaron Jones stayed with the Vikings. So they paid Najee Harris the most money of any running back in the NFL. And then they used a first-round pick on Omarion Hampton, a guy that we haven't been so high on, but a lot of the NFL clearly is high on. They are going to run the ball like crazy. And I just think that says so much about Justin Herbert. Baldy's right when he says, like, are you going to take Bo Nix or Justin Herbert when you just watch a person throw the ball? Justin Herbert might be like number one in the NFL in terms of that. But sorry, you got to do way more than throwing the ball to be a quarterback. You have to make reads. You have to make checks. You have to make good decisions. That's the most important thing when it comes to playing quarterback. So that's who these Chargers are, Henry, is, yes, they're highlighted by Justin Herbert, but I think they are good. They might run the ball more than anyone in the NFL this year.
I mean, that's what Harbaugh's want to do. Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily anti-Herbert. It's more so just like the philosophy for winning football games, especially late in the year, is we win on defense and we win by running the football. And I mean, there you go. I mean, this is what they invest in. I think, like I said before, the running game last year for them wasn't anything special. 17th in rushing yards, 11th in rushing touchdowns.
That's crazy.
24th in yards per attempt. So like it's not like they were super dominant. It's just that they wanted that to be their identity. Yeah. And then I think in their mind, this is the way that you go from, okay, we've established it as an identity. Now we can make it actually an identity that can lead us to success.
Yeah. It's such a great point. That's fascinating. Just how
we hit the 10,000, by the way.
Oh my goodness! We hit our goal of 10,000. We were 2,000 away when we started the show. I'm going to give all the credit to you guys and Broncos Tube. You've been doing a great job of tracking. Do we have the updates of who's been given? Nope, they're all from our market. You hear? Let's go! $10 from Anonymous. That probably means you're using a VPN or you're out of the country. So make sure if you gave to leave a chat here. It doesn't have to be a super chat. Just drop a chat in here saying that you're the person. We want to give you a shout out. $10,000 live on our show. That is too cool. The Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And it doesn't have to stop there. We can keep getting more. So make sure to donate. We really appreciate. We still have 35 hours of this going on. So tomorrow, be ready. Let us know what you want us to do tomorrow for every super chat or a donation that comes in. We're going to have Ryan back. Maybe we can get Ryan to do something. Let's get creative and drop those in the last 15 minutes of the show and also at the start of tomorrow's show. Speaking of tomorrow is a show that's run by you. That's run by the listeners. That's run by the people watching on YouTube. That's run by the people listening on the podcast side. It is all about the diehards. You guys are going to direct our show tomorrow. So if you want us to talk about a topic, go into the Discord, the Broncos Discord right now in the next, couple of hours. Drop topics in there, and we're going to talk about it on tomorrow's show. Plus, we want you to join us live on the show tomorrow. Join us tomorrow. We're going to drop a link in the Discord tomorrow. You got to be a diehard to be in there. We want you to join us live. Dre is getting hype right now. Yeah. We hit it, baby.
Dre's very excited.
We did it.
Ooh, good time. We've got the draft pod today. At what time? 3:30, Dre? 1:15 draft pod
at 1:15.
Yeah, 1:15.
Man.
Talking early Broncos needs for next year's draft.
I like that. I like that topic a lot. And if you want a topic, drop it in the Discord so we can talk about it tomorrow. Also,
so far we just have one. And so I wouldn't mind spending an hour just talking about who our all-time Broncos defensive backfield would be. But, maybe that's more of like a 30-minute topic.
Yeah.
Or 25 or 15.
Give us more. Give us more.
It's all in there. Yep.
Jorge was the anonymous donor there. LFB Jorge. Let's go. Everyone that's gave is goated on this show today. Let's do what we do now. Let's break down the Broncos-Chargers matchup. And before we do that, I want to give a shout-out to a place that's coming to my alma mater. The University of Denver play-by-play broadcasting camp is coming to DU very soon, June 23rd to 27th. It's an award-winning sports broadcasting camp that's coming to Denver, just about 10 minutes away from the DNVR Bar. And play-by-play has been in business for 20 years and hosts camps in 14 different cities throughout the United States, including 4 of the 5 All-City Network markets, and additional to virtual camps. And you guys know Ryan. He is going to be there along with Adam Mares. So if you want to get to meet them and to be in this play-by-play camp, it's for boys and girls ages 10 to 18. We'll have an opportunity to learn all the skill sets in sports broadcasting, including sports talk radio, sideline reporting, play-by-play, show hosting, podcasting, and more. I wish I had this opportunity when I was 10 to 18. I would definitely be there. And you can get $100 off by going to playbyplaycamps.com and use the code ALLCITY for $100 off. You can even call them or email them at 800-319-0884 or email them at info@playbyplaycamps.com with any questions. Okay, let's do this. Let's break down Broncos, Chargers. And Henry, it starts with what I asked Baldy. Bo Nix or Justin Herbert?
It's Herbert. Like 12 months from now, could easily 5 months from now, it could be Bo. But as of now, based on what we've seen, it's Herbert.
Okay, so we're going to have to go to a tie-breaking system. And for this one, we asked Baldy.
Or we could just text Ryan.
He will not respond quickly. You can try.
Let's try.
There's no chance Ryan responds fast. No chance.
Okay.
So
we can circle back.
No. I think for this one we go with Baldy.
Okay.
As a tiebreaker, since we asked him, I would go with Bo here just because of how when you need Justin Herbert to step up in big time moments, he absolutely blanks the bed. So I would go Bo here. I'm not going to give you any crap for going with Herbert. I totally understand why you would do that. His regular seasons have been incredible. His big game moments have been sure.
For what's worth, this is a regular season game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. I'm just going Bo here.
Okay.
This game is on the road though, so yeah, I could see that. Yeah, let's do it in the chat. If we.
No, I don't trust the chat.
Okay, Henry doesn't trust the chat. We won't do that. It's going to be very, very Broncos focused. So here, we might be calling on you on these next ones, but this one we're going with quarterback, courtesy of Baldy and Hank. Now, running back. Talk about just completely different rooms for both teams from a year ago. It was J.K. Dobbins for the Chargers, and it was Javonte Williams for the Broncos. Now it's RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins for the Broncos, and Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris for the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, you got to obviously go with the Chargers here.
Oh.
Because you don't think so. Here's the case for it.
Okay, please.
The Chargers decided they didn't want J.K. Dobbins. They wanted Najee Harris instead.
Yeah.
They had their choice of any running back, and they went with the first-round pick, Omarion Hampton. Broncos got the second-round pick, Harvey. Like, to me, it's pretty clear-cut.
And that is fair. I don't know what. Yeah, here's John up right now. That's very fair. I will make the case for the Broncos. And here's the case.
Okay.
J.K. Dobbins was the Chargers' starting running back last year.
Yes.
He's now the Broncos' number 2 running back. So the Broncos just took their starting running back last year and made him their number 2 running back, in my mind. And on this show has the right to say that RJ Harvey is better than Omarion Hampton. And here's why. We didn't like Omarion Hampton. None of us on this show liked Omarion Hampton. In fact, to the point where we got nervous, like, what happens if the Broncos draft him? Because that's the running back that we've been so low on throughout this entire draft process. So this is actually the one guy. Shout out to the Chargers for drafting him. This is the one guy that we can legitimately be like, we've never believed in him. So...
Okay, before the draft, did any of us once bring up RJ Harvey?
All the time, Henry. You must have just not been listening.
Not once. Not once did anybody say, we want RJ Harvey.
But we didn't say we didn't want him.
That's true.
Thank you. You're here.
Ryan went Chargers for quarterback.
Oh, man.
He says Chargers for now because Herbert has longevity, but that could easily change this year. That's what I said.
I listen, guys, I've tried, but majority wins. This is a democracy, so we're going with majority. Running back. You did just ask him on running back. Actually, can you just text him right now for all of the positions and see if he gets back? Or you just want to go one at a time as we go? So we're split right.
Hopefully we get a bunch on the same page.
Okay, so we're split right now. So let's just leave this and wait for Ryan's response.
Yep, we can leave the running back results.
Wide receiver.
Let me double check.
So they got a second round pick.
Yeah.
They've got Ladd, who's...
Is he a goat?
Or kind of, right?
He really likes the donations.
Ladd,
that's him. So
I just feel like he's Irish, and there's a lot of...
He could be.
Sheep,
just looking at him
up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it a sheep?
So Ladd McConkey, best receiver in the game. Not the game of football, but the game
that's what you meant.
this particular game.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he had almost 1,200 yards as a rookie.
I'm not.
I think that's it. I think after that, though, like Court is next up.
Yep.
And then you get into like Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, Mike Williams. If you took Ladd McConkey and Cortland Sutton out, I think I'd go Broncos. But is Ladd McConkey a big enough upgrade that you then say like, hey, a dominant number 1 is worth it?
The Charger fan, I should say, would make that argument that yes, he is that much better because Cortland Sutton has never had a 1,200-yard season, and Ladd McConkey did that as a rookie.
Yeah.
So I could understand that, but right now, I mean, Cortland Sutton and Ladd, they're not that far apart, like 100 yards apart.
Yeah.
What are you going with? Chargers?
Oh, I could get behind the Broncos.
Okay, let's do it because I mean it's a coin flip, and the depth, man. If Quentin Johnston takes a step up, then yeah, they could be a good group, but I'm not counting on him taking a step up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He can take a lot of steps, as you hear said, but he can't catch. So that's kind of an issue there. Tight end, this one, I mean, shout out to Evan Ingram. He had the choice to make the Chargers tight ends better than the Broncos or the Broncos tight ends better than the Chargers. And he chose the Broncos. What?
Aren't you from England?
I
swear he said in the chat. He's the one who
Danimal lives like a block away from DNVR or something.
Wait. Oh, the VPN.
Oh,
the
Danimal
VPN.
did admit he's like 20 minutes behind. So we're not going to know what's actually going on. Danimal, catch up. We need to know.
Danimal. Yeah, he did say that.
He did say VPN.
It won't take me all the way up to the chat. In fact, as far up as I can go is to his... Okay, well, figure it out. I
Um,
guess maybe the internet says he's foreign. Just send us your location.
Send
give us a little-
send us your home address,
Yeah.
please, and
Yeah.
where you leave your spare key.
Yes.
Okay, so tight end Broncos because
Yeah.
of Ingram.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, Broncos gets that tight end.
The defense is interesting. So again, like,
got to get to offensive line first.
oh, that's right. That's Broncos still. You
Charger-
wonder with Mekhi
Chargers
Becton.
could have a good one, but yeah,
But
I would
it
go
should be the
Broncos.
Broncos.
I wonder if any team, the Eagles might beat the Broncos in offensive line.
And I
this
guess
year.
the case for the Chargers would be, I mean, Rashawn Slater is when healthy, one of the 4 best left tackles in the NFL. So love Garrett. It's just not there. Joe Alt at right tackle, year 2, first round pick was awesome last year. I mean, you probably have the better tackles, I guess, the Chargers.
Yeah,
They're probably
Broncos
isn't
have
much
the
of an
better
argument.
interior.
Yeah, it's just like Quinn is better than Mekhi, Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman. It's we could go Broncos.
So Danimal is overseas.
He is.
Doesn't make him a foreigner.
Yes, it does.
You can be American.
Oh wait.
Yeah,
oh,
you
he
definitely can.
is from American. Oh, okay.
So
Fair
Danimal
enough.
is American, but lives overseas.
Oh, he's in the Middle East.
Do you have his location?
He sent it in the chat.
Oh,
well,
wow.
not the details. Not the details.
Okay.
Yeah. I wonder what the Chargers' offensive line is going to look like mid-season. As of now, though, we go Broncos just based on
Go Broncos. Yep, but
the continuity.
a close one there. Run defense. So you were saying something about the defense, Henry.
I mean, the Chargers had the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL last year. So you look at it on paper, though, and say, what scares me? So up front, edge rushers, Khalil Mack and Tuli Pelotu. I don't know what you make of Khalil Mack at this point. In the middle of Tito Agbanaya, T.R. Tart, Deshaun Hand. Broncos probably are the answer there. Deion Henley was awesome last year. I think first year as a starter. Junior Colson, I don't think started, moves into the starting lineup, who is like one of the top linebackers drafted out of Michigan. Secondary, Dante Jackson, Derwin James, Alohi Gilman, Cam Hart, Tariq Still.
Coverage has to be Broncos.
Like, I think it's probably just Broncos across the board, even though, again, like this
Even
was
though
the
they have
number one
defense.
number 1 scoring defense. And again, when you play ball control, that's why the scoring defense can be a little bit misleading.
What was their run defense like, the Chargers?
They were 27th in yards per attempt allowed, but they were 4th in net yards per attempt in the passing game. So I think the reason why, let's see, average time of possession, 15th for the offense. I would have thought longer.
Yeah.
Total drives defended. I'm not sure if I actually have that right here. So never mind. Oh, number of drives, 181. I don't have a rank. Oh, no. I go Broncos across the board.
I think so too. Broncos win run defense. Broncos win pass rush. Broncos win coverage and coach. This is an interesting one.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's just tough to say, like, who has the better coach. They do different things.
Yeah, this one's tough for me. I am under the impression that the Broncos wanted Harbaugh when they hired Sean Payton. They flew to Harbaugh in Michigan, tried to get him. He said no, wanted to run it back one more year. Turns out to be very much the right decision. He wins a national championship that next year. So the Broncos initially wanted Harbaugh. And then in their first season going up against each other, Harbaugh goes 2-0 against them. I love Sean. I guess I would want Sean moving forward, though. So
but this is just for one game.
It's true. I mean, frick, didn't Harbaugh leave the game against the Broncos in Denver because of some medical thing? He comes back and wins the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough part about including a coach in this sort of thing, is that it's so much of coaching isn't just the one game, who do you want? Because if you're just your team shows up to the stadium and you're like, okay, pick out your coach that also shows up. And it's well, if you gave Sean Payton to the Chargers, it really wouldn't work. If you gave Harbaugh to the Broncos, it really wouldn't work because the team is built to play whatever sort of way.
But they build that team too.
Exactly.
I'm going Sean. I'm not going to think too much about it. I'm going Sean.
Sure. We can go Sean.
Sure, we can go Sean. This is insane. We're waiting on Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan
we
didn't
got
respond.
20 seconds. So
Yeah, I think it's a very easy one. Just because.
okay, let's do it. Let's go with
We can
the
assume.
Broncos, of course.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. We're going with the Chargers. We're going with the Chargers. This is the first time in 3 weeks that we don't have the same looking thing. Because the Titans and Colts one looked the exact same, where Broncos won everything except for running back and wide receiver. Now the Chargers win the running back one here.
Yeah.
This was fun. Great show today. And shout out to all of you for donating
on the
to
shout.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We really appreciate it. Just got Henry to roll his eyes one more
There we
time
go.
to end the show. And that's going to do it for us. We got one more show tomorrow. Again, drop everything, all your thoughts, everything you want to talk about, all the comments in the Discord over at the DNVR.com on the podcast, where we've been dropping those online. We love you all. We love you. See you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.